Chelsea fans, welcome back to Talking Chelsea. Welcome back to another match reaction. Chelsea have just won 2-0 against LAFC in the first group stage game of the Club World Cup. And to be honest, it was a good performance. Nothing that tore trees up, nothing that set the world alight, but we got the job done. There was a lot of things to talk about in this video about this performance because I didn't really know what to expect going into the Club World Cup. We've seen a lot of sort of negative press around it. Obviously, other fans don't care about it. Fine, I kind of understand that, if I'm being honest, if you're a neutral. A lot of empty seats. The attendance tonight for tonight's game was absolutely woeful. There was entire blocks of stands that were empty. FIFA have done a very poor job at promoting and marketing this and selling tickets, and I think it serves them right purely because they were outpricing people. But regardless of that, let's talk about the football match. The Chelsea 2, LAFC 0. It felt to me very much like a pre-season game. It felt to me very much like a pre-season game in a sense of the first sort of 10 minutes were a bit shaky. Both teams were kind of trying to settle in and just try and get a grip to the game and kind of see what type of football the other opponents were going to be playing. We had Lavia and Caicedo. I was going to say Lycedo in midfield. And to be fair, we like seeing Lavia play. He was hooked off at half-time. I think he had a fairly decent first half. The officiating today was a bit all over the place, if I'm being honest. The ref cams that we saw and Caicedo's booking just didn't make sense to me when you can clearly see that he got the ball. But hey, we move. I feel like Reece James played very well. We had very contrasting wingers in that first half. We had Pedro Neto, who was fantastic. He won player of the match, and rightfully so. Or as the Club World Cup have called it, the superior player of the match, which I find just a very weird phrasing for it. Got man of the match, and rightfully so. He was a handful today, making runs in behind, always trying to cause a nuisance, whipping them balls in like he always does. Gets himself a very well-worked goal, which we'll talk about in just a second. And then on the other side, we had Noni Madueke on the left, which, recently we've seen Madueke play very well on that left. It's like it's unlocked a new character. It's a different player. But he was really poor tonight. And it's not to throw shade at Madueke. It's the first game of the group stages, right? We get that. And we know we've only got 3 wingers currently in that squad, which is Madueke, Pedro Neto and Tyreek George. Tyreek George did come on in the second half and he played very well, in my opinion. It was a big upgrade on what Madueke's performance was in the first half. You could see that he was trying. He was just very wasteful. And I felt like their right back just locked him up. Just locked him up for that first half. You could see that Madueke had a few moments where he's taking it around players or trying to keep the passage of play open. Fair enough, but wasn't deadly enough. He was very wasteful with the ball, and it was just frustrating to watch. I think it's probably the best way of describing it. Frustrating, right? We know that he can produce more, but again, the contrast of the wide players today, unbelievable difference, night and day difference. Jackson, I think, had a fantastic first half. This guy, it might be the signing of Delap that changes Nicholas Jackson's work ethic or the way he performs or his mindset or whatever. We know that he does work hard. We know that he presses relentlessly. We know that he likes his link-up play. We know his passing is good. But that first half, he was everywhere. And I feel it's a case of he now knows that if I don't perform, I lose my spot. And if someone like Delap's going to come in and he plays well, I'm going to struggle to get my spot back. That first half was fantastic from him. He gets himself an assist. Mate, what a piece of play. The ball comes up, holds it down lovely, holds the defenders off, turns around, lovely through ball down that right-hand side, splitting the defence, Neto on the end of it, who drives into the box. He then sends that defender to the shops to get milk. He was out of the game completely. Lovely little Ronaldo chop, Cruyff turn style thing. And then Neto just very, very clinical. Shoots at the near post, gets the first goal. Absolutely love that. Job done, right? Completely in complete control. LAFC did have some chances. Very wasteful in their attacking chances they had. Sanchez made some really pinpoint saves which were needed. Our defence was relatively solid. There was a few moments where the ball got leaked through, but they recovered very well. So it's overall a very good defensive performance. Keeping a clean sheet is always a good thing, right? Sanchez played very well. The only thing, again, as we already know, is his distribution is just really poor. There's a couple of times he just kicked a straight out play. Other than that, and it's not me throwing shade at Sanchez, other than that, he had a very good game. He come and collect crosses when he needed to. Anything that come into his box, he claimed, and he made some very important saves. So fair play to him. Defensively, like I said, I think we played well. Cole had some really good moments on the ball, which is nice to see. We know how good he is with the ball at his feet when he has a bit of space and time, when he feels comfortable and confident. So it was nice to see that. Cucurella, this guy's going to get burnt out if we don't buy someone else to have someone else instead of him on that left-hand side. But he was everywhere in the half spaces. He was out wide. He was at left back. He played very well. Got himself booked though, which means he's one booking away from a 1-game suspension. Same with Caicedo. Same with Reece James as well. Again, the referee giving bookings for Reece James and Cucurella really does baffle me. I'm not going to lie. But overall, it was a good performance. We worked our way into the game. We're just kind of going through the gears. And the class and quality showed through. Like I said, LAFC had their moments. They defended very well as a unit. We did find it quite hard at times to break them down. But it was a very good half. Lavia played well. Caicedo played well, as he always does. Defensively, we were pretty solid. Sanchez didn't really have much to do in that first half. Then we moved to the second half where Enzo Maresca made some changes. We had Gusto coming on for Reece James, which I think is more tactical man management. And then we also saw Lavia coming off for Enzo Fernandez. And I feel like these changes made a world of difference. Reece James had a good first half, but Gusto equally had a good second half as well. Enzo Fernandez, we know how good he has been in this last season. He gets the second goal with a very well-timed late run into the box, which Maresca has taught him and Enzo has taken into his stride so naturally, so beautifully, that it just seems that every time he runs late into the box, he scores. We'll get onto the Delap assist because he also made a big difference. Now, the big sort of change was Jackson for Delap. Everyone was screaming for it on the live watch along. Everyone wanted to see Delap start. They wanted to see him play. Wanted to see what he could do, and he got very limited minutes. And I'm going to be honest, I was very happy with what I saw from Delap. Physical, presses well, fast, strong. Like, he's just everything that Jackson isn't, and Jackson is everything Delap isn't. There is a very stark difference. But what I really liked about Delap is, even though he wasn't on the same wavelength as the players, which is obviously going to happen when you're a brand new signing that's had 1 or 2 training sessions with the team, you can see the potential he has. You can see the skill set he has and what he brings to a Enzo Maresca side and system. And when the wavelengths start connecting, I feel like this is really going to work. He got himself an assist today. And there's something that I feel like other people don't know or overlook a lot when it comes to this assist specifically. I know it's obviously just happened, but it's the first thing that hit my mind. When a striker crosses a ball in, they're not just hitting it and hoping it. I was told this growing up, playing through various football teams at various different levels, right? Never quite pro, but throughout the pyramid, right? I was always taught, and I never understood it, as an attacking player, when strikers cross the ball in, they always cross the ball to where they would like to receive it as that striker. And that's exactly what Delap did with his cross today. He put that ball in instinctively, right, to a position where he would like to be on the end of it to then put the ball in the net. However, we had Enzo Fernandez late arriving, perfectly timed, to then take advantage of that cross into the danger area. And look, Delap was a handful. He was very physical. He was giving a lot of fouls away. I think the officiating was a bit all over the place, let's be honest. But, he was everywhere, being physical, trying to get the hold of the ball. He lost the ball a few times, give a few fouls away, cool. We kind of allow it. He had very limited minutes, but I really liked what I saw. And that assist kind of nailed onto me, like, right, okay, cool. This guy can provide assists and score goals. Like, I feel like he's going to be a very good signing, and having the likes of Delap and Jackson gives us such a different dynamic, which I feel like gives Enzo Maresca a lot of breathing space and a lot of flexibility in terms of the teams that we set up against. Now, if I'm being brutally honest, and this is me just on the hamster wheel right now, I would really like to see Jackson and Delap up front together for a game and just see what happens, because I feel like the type of players they are and the dynamics that they bring individually, having them in the same team, I think that could cook up some really dangerous attacking potential. The link-up play, the natural finishing. But you could just see from Delap's runs that he was making, very different to Jackson. And obviously a lot of them are misread because they're not on the same wavelength as the rest of the team, understandably. But he just brings a different dynamic. A natural 9 in this team is going to make such a difference going into the season. Do I think he's going to get 30, 40 goals in this year? Probably not. But do I think he's going to hit the ground running and, take to this system, take to this team very well and actually contribute goals and assist-wise? Yes, I think he's going to do that from very early on. He got very limited minutes today, got himself an assist. He basically said to Jackson, whatever you can do, I can do too. And it was just good to see. 2 strikers, 2 different options, both providing very vital contributions to a game today. Now, yes, I said earlier that it felt like very much like a pre-season game. We went through the gears. Look, we didn't tear any trees up. We got the job done. But there are a lot of positives to take from this. Clean sheet, 2 goals scored. Obviously, 2 different assist providers from our strikers as well. I'd like to see them start scoring goals rather than providing them. But hey, it is what it is. Clean sheet, 2 goals, points on the board with the group stage. We can now, settle back into this new regime of, the campaign and training and rest and, adapt to the time differences, etc. And then we move on Friday to face Flamenco, which I believe is again another 7 p.m. kickoff here in the UK. Don't know what it is where you're watching around the world, but I'm looking forward to it. Looking outside the match, because obviously we care about Chelsea, is what this channel's about. It's about talking about Chelsea. Like I said, the stands not being full, it's just quite embarrassing on FIFA, really, isn't it? They haven't marketed very well, and they're selling tickets for astronomical prices, and they've had to do cutthroat prices to try and sell tickets last minute. And it's not just for our game, it's been for most of the games of the Club World Cup, right? Just isn't a good look for the outside perspective of people that are neutrals, right? Even the likes of, I believe it was it PSG Atletico, even that wasn't a full stadium. So it's not just us, it's the competition. I feel like this has potential in the future to become a really big thing. And I feel like FIFA are trying something new, trying to bring the sport of football to America, really open it up even more, bring highlights from the MLS. Obviously, you've got Inter Miami, you've got LAFC playing. I feel like it's got a lot of potential. And like I said, from Chelsea's perspective, it felt like a very routine win. Glad we got it over the line. Happy to see Delap get an assist. Happy to see Jackson play well. And I feel like when we saw the likes of Asugo come on, he played very well. Tyreek George took his minutes very well. Nkunku came on, a bit hit and miss in my opinion. But again, we kind of know what to expect from Nkunku. He came on as a 10, which shows that we're going to be able to rest Palmer throughout this tournament, no matter how far we go, and bring on Nkunku just so he can rest his legs a bit, which is quite nice to see. We didn't see Andrey Santos, which is a bit of a shame. But also, look, it's very early into this tournament. It's the first game. We've got 2 more to go. One thing that I'm curious, and I'd love to know your thoughts down below. 1, obviously your thoughts of the game, but 2, how much of the squad does he rotate for the second game? Does he do the whole lot? Does he just do a few key players? Does he start Delap and then bring on Jackson in the second half? Does he start Tyreek George and bring on Neto on the left-hand side, Noni on the right? Does he start Asugo and drop Caicedo? Does he put Gusto left back to rest Cucurella for a little bit? Does he then rotate the centre-back options? Very interested to know your thoughts down below about that, because I feel like we can kind of go anywhere we need to. Now we've played that first game, we've got the result over the line. Essentially, if we win the second game, we go through. Essentially, right? Obviously, we want to win all of them, but it does give us a lot more flexibility and freedom in terms of the team selection, the rotation, the minutes that we can provide. So, very curious to know your thoughts about that. But like I said, we didn't tear any trees up. We got the job done. Up the Chelsea. 3 points on the board. We moved to Flamenco on Friday, and hopefully we can do the same thing again. So, yeah, if you have watched this video all the way to the end, firstly, you're a real one, and I appreciate that. You are a real one. But secondly, there'll be a thumbnail appears on the screen. So if you are a Chelsea fan who enjoys Chelsea content, make sure you click that thumbnail, because you'll enjoy that video too.